Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to teach you guys the 7 most important and commonly used measure words in Mandarin. Unlike in English, measure words in Mandarin are very based on the following nouns. So in Mandarin, we do not have plural words like in English. So for example, a stack of books. And if you directly translate this into Mandarin, it will become 一摞书.
一摞书，这就是一摞书，没准多一些。这样一摞书，这可能是几本书。
So you can see that in English we add s to the word book, and in Mandarin we do not have such thing. We don't call it 一摞书. There's no such thing in Mandarin. We just want to make it clear for you guys before we start today's lesson, so you guys can understand the difference between the two languages. In Mandarin, we do not have plural words. We only use singular word, but we use different measure word to talk about how many books we have or how many stack of books we have. So in English, we have S. It's simple, but in Chinese, in Mandarin in general, it's kind of different based on what you try to say. While I was preparing this lesson with Ping, I want to give you guys a thumbs up and pat on the back because I feel like learning Chinese is super hard, especially this part, the measure words. So when we were planning the lesson plan for today, I was like, why in the world Chinese makes everything so complicated and so accurate and so hard for people to learn? Like, there's no rule of thumbs. Sometimes you just have to memorize the certain words or certain type of phrase. There's no like logic behind this, but I'm sure there's logic behind it. I just can't find it. So when we are preparing this, we were like, how do we explain to you guys why do we use this word? Anyhow, let's just jump into today's lesson and start teaching you guys the 7 most important and commonly used measure words. First measure words we have today is 一个. So for example, a person,
一个人，
a cup,
一个杯子，
an apple,
一个苹果，
an idea.
一个想法。
We try so hard to find the logic. Why do we use 一个 for this type of noun? And we just can't find the logic or rule of thumbs behind it. But if you know, please let us know and leave your comment down below, because I really want to know why. At first, I thought it's an object or physical object, like a person, cup, or apple is a physical thing. But then Ping said, but we also use an idea, 一个想法,
一个想法，一个主意。
as we also use 一个 and idea. So idea is not a physical thing. It's just a concept. So that's why we couldn't figure it out, like what is the logic behind using 一个. But we want to give you guys as many examples as possible so you guys can kind of play around and memorize and use it in different circumstances or situations. The next measure word is 一只. For example, a bird,
一只鸟，
a rabbit,
一只兔子，
a shoe,
一只鞋，
a glove.
一只手套。
Here you can kind of find the logic, but not like definite logic or rule of thumbs that apply in every situation. But the basic idea is when you are talking about an animal, like a bird, a small animal, and a rabbit, something that you can grab, then you can use 一只. And also if you're talking about something that originally is a pair and you just try to talk about one item of the pair, then for example, a pair of shoes, you can talk about one shoes. So a shoes will be 一只鞋, right? So something similar to that, like this is the basic logic, but there's not a definite logic rule of thumbs, because there's other cases where you use 一只 but they're not animal or they're not a pair of something. So just remember this. But most of the case you can use 一只 for this type of situation. Moving on to the next measure word, 一张. For example, a piece of paper.
一张纸
A table.
一张桌子
A face.
一张脸
A bed.
一张床
And finally, a dollar or a bill or a cash or something.
Yeah. 一张钞票
So basically here you can kind of say anything has a flat surface, you can use 一张, but there are cases where you can't describe, for example, you can't describe a phone because phone has flat surface. You can't call it 一张手机. It's weird. So there's rules, like it has to be like completely flat and even and like thin. So it cannot be like something that's like really thick, right? That's not.
你不能说一张书 ，OK， 你必须得说一本书，因为它是由这么多张纸。
Yeah. So it's like has to be really thin. But I don't understand why you call it 一张床, because 床 is basically really thick. Like the bed is really thick. So why would you call it 一张床?
因为古时候的床可能是很薄的。
So that's what he said. In China, a long time ago, the bed used to be very like flat. Some people might sleep on the floor too. So all they have is like a blanket, or like they sleep on the floor. So it's like kind of thin, like really thin. So, but that's where 一张 came from. So the next measure word we want to teach you guys is 一把. Many times, a lot of people use to describe a certain things using 一张. For example, 一张椅子. But the correct way to say it is
一把椅子
and also a knife.
Yeah, 一把刀
A bunch of hair.
对
一把头发
一把头发
And also a handful of sand.
哦抓一把沙子一把沙子
Anything that you can grab with your hand. Like you can grab the chair and lift the chair, and you can grab my hair, or you can grab a knife. Anything you can physically grab, it's called 一把. And if you can see it, like 一把, the way you write 一把 is with the hand, right?
提手旁
Yeah, 提手旁 with the hand. I don't know what you call it, hand part, or something like that. Again, I'm not a teacher. We're just trying to explain it to you. The next measure word we're going to teach you guys is 一台. For example, a computer,
一台电脑
a TV,
一台电视
a camera.
一台照相机
So basically anything that you can physically stand up, like a TV, you can just put it up and then it stays upward, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't really use this 一台 as to describe the phone you have, cell phone for example, but you can use it to describe a home phone. Like if you have a home phone line at home, you can use 一台电话, but usually you don't use 一台手机 as because nowadays the 手机 is like flat and you can't really put your 手机 there or cell phone there alone, and it won't stand up by itself. So usually we describe 手机 as like a cell phone usually is
一部手机
yeah. So don't use 一台 to describe 手机, but you can use 一台 to describe home phone. To the next one is very important to know this, a pair of something. And here we have two different words or two different measure words we are going to teach you, because based on the circumstances and what you're talking about, you use either one or the other. For example, a pair of hands,
一双手
a pair of eyes,
一双眼睛
a pair of ears,
一对耳朵
and a pair of shoes.
一双鞋
So here you can see most of the time Ping use 双 to describe a pair of something. But in Chinese, sometimes, like I know in the South, or like if you're in Taiwan, you use 一双耳朵. But to the northern Mandarin speaker, 一双耳朵 is completely wrong and weird. they can understand you for sure, but it just sounds weird to you. It's like when I should say a pair of ear, but instead I say a couple of ear. It just sounds like that. It's weird. So usually they use 一对耳朵. And what are other words that you use for 一对?
一对情侣.
So a couple.
Yeah.
And what else?
一对耳环.
Oh, a pair of earrings. So like you say, like
那还有一对戒指.
Okay, a couple of ring, a pair of ring, a pair of ring, 一对戒指. So like typically we use 一对 when it's something that is not completely, doesn't have to be completely symmetry or identical. It can be a guy and a girl. It's a couple. A 一对耳环. It might not be like identical, but it's similar. Like it's similar, not identical. So something like that, you can use 一对. I hope this help. And something that's symmetry and identical, you usually use 一双, I think.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. So don't hold us accountable. Don't hold us accountable because we, like I say, we don't know what the rules or like the logic behind this. It just whatever sounds correct and sounds right. And we learned this when we were little, so we memorized this from a young age, and we just use it and without thinking about why. So if you know why, and for those of you who are studying this language, if you know why and you know the logic behind it, please let us know in the comment section down below, because we would love to know as a Mandarin speaker for him, and as a Chinese, I would love to know the logic behind this measure words, what you use for a certain type of noun. So yeah, let us know. So the final words for today is 一件. So you use this quite often as well. For example, a clothes.
一件衣服.
A piece of clothes. 一件衣服. And a gift.
一件礼物.
A thing.
一件事儿.
So in English, I don't know if I'm translating this right. Like when I'm looking up 事件 or 事情.
事情.
Just translate into thing, a matter. So like when we are talking about like 事情, we usually say something happened. Like we don't say, like in Chinese you would say like 一件事情发生了.
对。
But in English, there's like nothing that directly translate into 事件 or 事情. So usually I just say something happened. But if you know the exact translation for 事情 in English, let me know as well. So apparently I'm stuck at both language. Anyhow, this is the wrap for today's class. I hope you guys learn some useful measure words you can use in the future. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, because we spent a lot of time preparing this video for you guys, and we really hope that you guys like it, and that means you guys think this is useful for you guys. And again, if you like this video, if you like our channel, please like, subscribe, and share this video to your friends, family who is still learning Mandarin and who is interested in learning Mandarin. Thank you again for watching, and see you on the next one. Thank you. Table.
一张桌子.
I don't know if you call it a money. A piece of...
一张钞票.
To the next measure word as 一张. For example, 一张纸.
一张纸.
Fuck! So the next measure word we are going to teach you is junkie. Drinking water. Sorry guys. Words we're going to teach you guys is 一台. For example, a computer.
一台电脑.
A television. Okay.